Hey, what's going on, everybody? TaylorMade Hoops live and direct with you once again on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. Today, I have a very, very special guest, head coach at Bethel College in Kansas. Coach Artaz is on. Let me give you a little background on Coach, man. I know he's a humble guy. He's gonna kind of get on me about this, what have you, Coach. But I got to give you a proper intro, Coach. A proper intro. Uh, sure. All right, well, Coach, man. While they're at school, he's entering his seventh season. Coach has the best overall winning percentage in school history. He has took the team to 3 national tournament appearances, and he's the fastest coach to 100 wins in school history. So, like I said, I have the myth, the legend, Coach Jayson Artaz. Coach, go ahead and let everybody know what we'll be talking about today. Today, objective and points of conversation, we'll be talking about the present state of college basketball, the NIL, the transfer portal, the pros and cons. Get coach's perspective on that. Also, we'll talk about the new NCAA changes that were just recently implemented, the elimination of the national letter of intent and the transfer portal window reduction. And then Coach gonna tell us some things he looks for in a recruit and some advice for young coaches. So, Coach, I'm gonna start off with this, Coach. Where did you grow up in your athletic and educational journey, Coach?
Yeah, so growing up for me, I grew up in a small town in western Kansas, and Kansas is a basketball state. I think that's a big thing here in Kansas. So kind of grew up playing basketball as a kid. My both of my parents coached basketball, and so I kind of
Oh,
had a obviously pretty natural movement into the coaching world for me. As a player, got recruited by Gary Chupp there at Bethel. Got a chance to go play there as a player. Enjoyed my experience at Bethel. Had a really good time. Met a lot of fantastic people, and then kind of got out of when I graduated. Got out of school, went and taught and coached after that, and I've taught elementary education up to middle school, and then I started off my coaching career coaching middle school. So it's been every level that I can pretty much get to. I feel like I've had a chance to do so. My claim to fame when I realized that coaching was no joke. My very first year as a middle school coach, I think we went 0-15, was year number one. So yeah, that was a pretty humbling experience as a young coach. The good news is the next year we won the league. So had a pretty big turnaround with that. But yeah, I've kind of been all over the map when it comes to coaching and kind of my journey as a player through Bethel, and then now coming back and coaching at Bethel again. So it's been great.
well, Coach, man, I always try to do my research and background on you guys, Coach. I didn't pull that up, Coach. That you actually started out as a middle school coach, man.
Yeah,
Coach,
yeah.
go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, we don't put in the bio the 0-15 season at the start of my middle school coaching career. Try to leave that one out of the bio if I can.
I got you, Coach. I got you, Coach. But now, Coach, one of the reasons why I love talking to you guys, talking to coaches, is because, to get your background, Coach, to let the young, inspiring coaches know the grind, and also, Coach, to be an inspiration, let them know that hey, you can start off like you say, Coach, as a middle school coach, maybe even coaching at the YMCA, work your way up to the level where you're at, Coach. With hard work and determination, you can do it, Coach. So that's why I always, seriously like to have you guys on because I find out things I didn't know. Like I would never know that, Coach. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And honestly, looking back at my kind of journey to coaching at college level has been, I think coaching middle school basketball might have been the best thing to happen to me. I mean, you become a great teacher of the game. I think when you coach young kids like that have no clue what they're doing, and you have to explain it in a way that they can put it into use. And I think that can be a challenge as a coach. And so doing that early in my career, I thought was a really big step for me just as my coaching career was getting going. And I think I used some of the stuff that I probably used as a middle school coach still coaching college. So it's been great.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, man. But once again, for my viewers tuning in, I have coaching Jayson Artaz, in head coach at Bethel College in Kansas. We're just talking a little bit of basketball. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. What role did athletics play in your life growing up? How important was playing sports, Coach?
Well, like I said, both my parents were coaches, and so sports was everything. You know, athletics, and I was a guy that played multi sports. I mean, growing up in a smaller town, you have an opportunity to do stuff like that, and so played football, basketball, ran track, did all of those things. I thought, you know, playing the multiple sport thing was really good for me, just because, you know, I've developed some toughness playing football. I thought I developed toughness running track. I mean, I was an 800 runner, and I don't know
Mm.
what you know about track, but running the 800 might be the toughest race there is. And so, just kind of developing that overall hard work, effort thing. But basketball was always it for me. You know, that was the thing that drove me. I was the kid that was getting shots up at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. Like that was just, I think, the neighborhood people probably hated me. Now that I'm adult and I kind of get it, I'm thinking, man, I bet people are pretty ticked off at me shooting over there at 11 o'clock or whatever else, and I hear the ball bouncing. But that's what growing up in a small town was. I was lucky I had my dad's keys to the gym, so I'd just go to the gym all the time. And there's not a whole lot else to do in a small town, and so athletics is really it. I mean, you look up to people playing college basketball, professional basketball, that stuff, and I mean, obviously you aspire to be those things, but so then just learning that work ethic that it takes to be successful, I thought was really, really big for me.
Well, Coach, man, you brought up a very good point, Coach, about playing multi sports. I always get this question, with parents where nowadays, they want to specialize, which is to me, I'm just gonna be honest with you, Coach. I may get in trouble for saying this, but it's weird as heck to me because even the time when I grew up, Coach, we played it all. And I think, one sport definitely helps the other. You just alluded to it, Coach. Football, helps with your toughness, contact, what have you. I think, basketball helps, a football player, helps with his footwork, agility, his hands, hand and eye coordination. So I'm glad you're saying that, Coach, as a college coach. So some of these, players will understand that, hey, it's okay to play other sports, not just basketball. Just make sure you're up at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, get them shots up like you were doing, Coach.
That's
And,
right.
and
If
you'll
you
be
if you
okay.
live in the gym in your off time, you can play all the sports.
There you go, Coach. No, seriously, you can, Coach. You're right about that. Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. How was it playing collegiately at Bethel College, Coach, at your alma mater?
Yeah. So Bethel was awesome to me as a player. I made lifelong friendships. I mean, there's people that are at Bethel still that were there when I was a player, which is awesome to have, and they remember me being a player and a student there. You know, I think Bethel is such a like tight knit, close community that it was really helpful to me. So my backstory is I actually lost my father to cancer when I was a freshman at Bethel.
Mm.
You know, that was obviously a tough situation for me to go through. I'm away from home. I'm the only kid, so my mom's at home by herself,
Oh
and
man.
then I'm off at school, and so I had a lot of people at Bethel really reach out and kind of help me through things and just check on me, my friends, my coaches, professors, alumni. I mean, I had people inviting me over to their house for dinner and all those kinds of things. And so I feel like I owe a tremendous, debt to Bethel for what they were able to do to me in a time when I needed them most. I thought that everybody at this part of that community really stepped up big. And um, playing there, I met my wife there. She's a volleyball player. And so I
Okay.
have really strong ties to Bethel. Love it and think it's a great place to go to school, a great place to be a part of. It's just a place that if you care about the right things, it's a place that you're going to love, I think. So it was a great experience for me, and I'm glad to be back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. Hey, Coach, I bet you living the dream, Coach. Because how many guys could say that they, see the coach at the college where, we're gonna get into a coach where, as a player, you're pretty good, still hold some records there, what have you, Coach. So man, that's great, man. Oh my God.
Yep.
Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. We're gonna continue talking about those experiences at Bethel. So, how did those experiences playing at Bethel College and being a part of a conference championship and the national tournament qualifying team influence you as a coach?
Well, I think when you are part of a winner, you
Okay.
understand what it takes to win. And I think winning is not for everybody. I think that's the one thing I realized is just because you want to win doesn't guarantee anything. You have to do what it takes to win. You've got to do the extra film sessions. You've got to put the hours in the gym. You've got to do all those things, and you have to play with a level of energy, enthusiasm, toughness that it requires to be a champion. And I think that was the biggest thing I learned playing that I'm trying to use in my coaching experience is like, if you want to win, there's really no shortcuts. And the crazy thing is everybody wants to win. Everybody's sitting there at the beginning of the season saying, yeah, we want to win conference. Yeah, we want to go national tournament. Yeah, we want to do this and this and this. Everybody has the same goals, but not everybody's willing to do what it takes to reach those goals. I know for us, we really pride ourselves on our toughness in our program. And I think that stems from my playing days with Gary Chupp as my coach. We built ourselves on toughness. You cut through the lane, we were going to hit you. Like we were the type of people that you get a bloody nose, like you don't lay on the ground and pout about it, like get back in the game and get going. I think we try to play with that chip on our shoulder, that edge. And then also with that, like understanding that you still need to enjoy the moment. I think you still have to enjoy, going to practice and going and doing those things. Because if this is what you love, you want to do those things that it takes to be a champion. If you love the other things that come with winning, if you love your name in the newspaper and that's why you're doing this, you love the recognition, there's going to be a point when you don't go all out. There's going to be a point when you don't sell out for what you're trying to do. But if you love your teammates, you love the sport, you love what we're doing, then you're willing to do anything and everything it takes to be successful. And so for us, that's what we've kind of tried to implement in our program that I think I took from my program when I was there. And I think that holds pretty true for a lot of places. I mean, the distance from first to second is a lot farther than you think when it comes to conference standings. I heard there's a really good coach, as the head coach at Drake now. I heard him talking about that. And he said the distance from first to second is bigger than the distance from second to 10th. And so he's saying the champions are the only ones willing to really do what it takes. Everybody else does a little bit of it. So they're all pretty close together, but a champion and the second place team, they're the ones that are, pretty big distance because they weren't willing to do what it really took in that moment. So I think that's very true and try to use that today.
Oh man, Coach, you brought up a lot of good points, Coach. That everybody wants to win, but everybody don't want to do what it takes to win, Coach. Like you said, serious, Coach. I know we recruiting a player, what have you. I know you big on character, you big on toughness and winning. And they probably all say the same thing. Oh yeah, Coach, I want to win. Coach, I don't mind. Like you said, the rigorous regimen. So the extra stuff that you go require them to do. They say that, but then when it gets down to it, Coach,
yeah,
you're right about that. Right, man. Well, man, you can tell, man, I'm having a good time, man, with my main man, Coach Jayson Artaz, head coach at Bethel College in Kansas. We just doing a little, just talking a little bit of basketball. You know how we do. Coach, let me ask you this, Coach. When did you realize that you want to coach? And I kind of know this question, but go ahead and let the viewers know.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I think I always kind of thought I was going to get into coaching and follow my parents' footsteps a little bit. But then I think when I got out of college, I mean, everybody gets out of college and you kind of have a choice saying, hey, do I really want to get into coaching and really chase maybe the college game or really chase the high school stuff and try to just elevate myself as fast as possible? That was not something that necessarily interested me. I was not like, I enjoyed being around basketball. I enjoyed being around players, but I would not say that the coaching bug like really hit me hard until I was coaching that middle school team that we didn't win any games. That motivated me that much more, to be honest. And so then it got to where it's like, hey, this is something that I really, really want to do. Got moved up to the high school program, was an assistant at the high school level. Then one of my former teammates at Bethel took over at Bethel, asked me to come on with him and took that job as an assistant there. I was still teaching middle school math while I was being an assistant at the college level. So, but had a chance to really, I think at that point, the thing that really drove me to college coaching is in high school, sometimes you're stuck a little bit with what you get. You're not necessarily able to go and find guys that fit your program, find guys that care about what you care about. But at the college level, winning is on your shoulders. There is nobody else to point to say, hey, it's their fault that we're not winning. If we don't win, it's on me. And I think I love that competition aspect of it, and the pressure of that. I enjoy that a lot. Now ask me in the middle of the basketball season if we lose 2 in a row, if I like that pressure, my answer might be different. But I think that, that's what drives me to coaching. And that's kind of every year I feel like I fall in love with coaching even more. And it's something I love doing even more. It's something I'm constantly learning, constantly trying to find new stuff, trying to steal from other coaches that know a lot more than I do. That's a big part of it. And so there is, books and podcasts and all that stuff. And I try to consume as much information and then try to make it into what I believe in, with all of that. And so, yeah, I love coaching. It's not an easy journey. When I first went to take the head Bethel job, I think my wife was not 100% on board, to be honest. She was, because she was an elementary school teacher.
Okay.
So I'm also teaching. We're saying, man, it's going to be a pretty big time commitment. At the time I started, I had a 5-year-old, and one on the way. And so had young kids, and my wife was kind of like, I don't think you should do this. And this might be the only time I've really told my wife I'm doing it. And so I kind of just said, yeah, I'm pulling the trigger. This is the one chance I've got to do this. And I wanted just to see, because I didn't want to live with the regret of, is this something I wanted to do? So, and man, I could not have been happier, could not have made a better choice, than to go after Bethel. So, yeah, that's kind of the journey and kind of how it all worked out for me.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it did, Coach. But hey, man, I'm telling you, man. Hey, every married man across the country, man, we are high fiving you, man, because you stood up to your wife, man. And I don't know how long you had to sleep on the couch, man. But hey, you won, man. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
shout out to you, man.
yeah. Chalk one up for me then. It's been 7 years. I'm not sure I've done that since. So I gotta hang on to that one time.
Oh, bro, that's what I'm saying, Coach. Seriously, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yep.
Well, Coach, man, I was gonna ask you, how many years you been coaching and all that, but you kind of already, went in detail, some of the spots you've been coaching at or what have you, Coach. So, let me ask this, Coach. What's the best part of coaching at your alma mater, Coach?
So Bethel, when I took over, basically had not had a season above 500 when I took over. So they had been below 500 for 14 years or whatever it was. And so I think the best part of taking over for me was getting the program to a spot that alumni were really proud of it. I think that's been the best part for me. Obviously getting to come back and see people that I knew when I was in school, have former teammates that come back and visit our program, talk to our program, all of those things. That's been phenomenal. And then just getting to bring players into Bethel, good kids. Like, we've got great players and great people that I think add a lot of value to the college. And so I think all of those things, I don't know if there's a one thing that I say, man, this is the best part, but there's just a lot of it, getting to interact with all the people and our team all the time, and getting to kind of relive that in something where I was in their shoes, and now I'm coaching them, and I've kind of been there before. And so that's a cool experience for me, for sure.
Oh yeah, I bet it is, Coach. No doubt about that, man. No doubt about that. You can tell them the do's and don'ts and things that's short.
That's right.
No, you can't, Coach. Tell them what to stay away from. Hey, don't go there, man. Yeah, because they go.
Yeah, yeah. Gotta warn them a little bit when they get here.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. Who influenced you the most as a coach?
I think, I mean, probably my dad and my mom, just being around them so long. They coached me from the age of 5. I mean, basically up through high school, just off and on in different things. And I think that seeing how they interacted with their athletes, and seeing how much they genuinely cared about their athletes, was something that I will always take with me. How much they wanted to help their athletes out and be there for them when they needed them, but then also push them, maybe when they didn't want to be pushed. And I know my dad and my mom pushed me when I didn't want to be pushed, and that's part of loving somebody. I think is holding them accountable, challenging them. That's a big part of it. And then going into college, obviously Coach Chupp at Bethel taught me a lot, just in the mental toughness side of things, just the competing side of things, what it looks like to compete hard, like those types of things. I think I got a lot of that from him. And then I've been around just every coach I come in contact with. I don't care who it is. I will probably ask them questions and try to pick up something from them. And so I've taken something different from everybody I've run into. And I think that we want to try to use things, and I want to try to use things that make sense to me and see how other people are doing it and pick and choose what I feel like fits. And I try to consume as much information as I possibly can when it comes to that. So I have a lot of coaches, and probably coaches that don't even know that I've used their stuff or whatever else, but try to use as much as I can and learn as much as I can from everybody. So.
Oh yeah, coach. Like we say with these the great coaches. We see something we like, coach. But the key word is from a young coach that's watching is that we do share ideas and things from different coaches, but you have to make the stuff into your own, coach. Make it fit into your program, because sometimes you may see something, you may like it, coach, and you may write it down or whatever the case may be, keep it for a later date. But you may know that, hey, for this particular team or for my program at this present time, this may not work, but I like it, so a lot of times.
And if you like it and you want to use it, then you better be able to teach it, because if you can't teach it, it's not going to work. And there's a reason that not everybody can do things like these other coaches and coach like these other coaches, because you've got to be able to know how to hold the standard. You got to know what you're looking for. You got to be able to know how to teach it like that. I think that's the toughest part about learning something new is, okay, well, I got to figure out, I have to know how to teach this before I can ever introduce it to my team. So that's the challenge of it all, for sure.
Oh yeah, especially with the kids we're dealing with nowadays. Like you say, we have to adjust, because now, coach, because even though I try to stay young or whatever the case may be, but still, coach, it's like, man, sometimes I'm like, what the heck are you talking about, son? But
Yes.
Hey, but coach, man, let me ask this, coach. We're gonna move over to a little bit of basketball for us, X and O's. What is your offense and your defense philosophy? How do you like to play down there in Bethel, coach?
We play. I think the word that we try to use on the offensive and defensive side is aggressively. I think generally the most aggressive team is going to win. And so for us, we are offensively, we are 5 out, up tempo. For us, like, we are a little bit of a blend of the read and react offense, where it's kind of the pass and cut away and dribble penetration stuff. But then we've kind of incorporated some new things this year with some more ball screens from our 5s, some more dribble handoff stuff, some post ups to grenades. Like, I think those things have been really tough to guard. And so getting the ball moving a ton on the offensive side, getting everybody quick decision makers, like, everybody says like the 0.5 decision, like that's what we're trying to get to. And we want our team to share the basketball a ton on the offensive side, but we love to drive the ball downhill. We're not a team that wants to settle for a bunch of threes. We want to get the ball to the rim, trying to get a layup. Like, every possession is kind of a battle to get a layup or an inside out 3. That's kind of how we view it. And so from the offensive perspective, we are really trying to put pressure on the defense with our movement. And just with how fast the ball moves as well. I think those are the things that we really try to do on the offensive side. Rebounding wise, offensive rebounding, we're trying something new this year. It's called tagging up. I've learned this from a fellow coach that talked about tagging up. He's the head coach at Cameron University, Division II, down there in Lawton, Oklahoma. So give him a shout out. But he kind of shared it with me, and it is essentially when the shot goes up, 5 guys are going to the glass. But instead of going to rebound, you're essentially going to the back of your box out. So you're trying to push your box out under the rim as much as possible. So then all long rebounds are yours. And also you're already back in transition, because you're closer to your basket than the guy that you would be guarding. And you basically just guard the guy that is trying to box you out. And so everybody's already matched up. There's no running back to the paint and trying to match up. We pick up full on the defensive end, try to pressure the ball a bunch. In the half court defensive stuff, we force baseline a lot, especially below the free throw line. Above the free throw line, we're kind of looking at pushing to weak hands. kind of depending on scouting report or maybe playing straight up above the free throw line. But yeah, we try to pressure, try to be super physical, foul. We want to foul with our bodies, foul with our legs, as much as possible. We're on drives and just be really physical while showing our hands and being disciplined with that. I think that is one of the easier said than done things, when it comes to teaching our guys defensively, but it's been pretty good for us. And I think we've been a pretty good defensive team in my time here. So, but yeah, but overall, we want to put pressure on teams offensively, defensively. We want to make teams, when they get on the bus after the game, we want them to think, oh my gosh, I need a day off. That's what we want. That's what we want them to feel like. And we want to be so used to that, because that's how we practice every day. We're going to be so used to that that's just another day for us. That speed and intensity that we practice with should trickle over to the game and be nothing new for us. And hopefully it's kind of a shock to the people that we play.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Coach, man, I like what you said. Like you say, it makes sense. The team is most aggressive, and it's probably coming, Coach, from earlier when you told me when you played football, Coach, from
Yeah,
like that contact, no, seriously, being aggressive, what have you. And like you said, Coach, hey, you want to be physical, and basically, like you say, Coach, you want to be in great shape, and outrun teams. They be holding the shorts in the fourth quarter, but also too, Coach, you want to kind of pound them too, so they're gonna be tired both
that's
ways.
right.
So,
That's
hey,
right.
no, I got what you said on there, Coach. And one thing you also said too, coaches, is something that I try to tell coaches and also players, that coaches don't teach intensity and effort. That's something that you guys don't coach, but that's something that you expect. Because
Yep.
I remember when I was coaching at Independence Junior College with Coach Patrick Nee, shout out to my guy Patrick Nee, who's at Allen County now. But he always used to tell me, hey, Coach, hey, make sure they bring the energy, Coach. Make sure they bring the energy. Where we were big on energy, because, like you said, hey, I'm a firm believer in this, Coach. Hey, you're gonna play how you practice. You
Yep.
can't practice like crap and then get in the game and turn it on. Like you say, Coach, it has to be a habit. It has to be your culture. So no,
Yep.
man, I like what you said, Coach. Like what you said, Coach.
Awesome.
Hey, once again on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner, I have Coach Jayson Artaz, head coach at Bethel College in Kansas Zone. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. We're gonna talk about the situation that's really been affecting college sports as a whole. We're gonna talk about the present state of college basketball, the NIL, the transfer portal, the pros and cons. We can break it down however you want to, Coach. We can start with the NIL, or you want to talk about them together. But what we can start off with the NIL if you want to, Coach. What's the pros and
Sure.
cons you think of the NIL?
I think the idea behind the NIL is a good one. I mean, there's a lot of
Okay.
money in college athletics, and a lot of this money is there because of these athletes that are putting the time in and all this. And so I am a proponent of athletes being able to get paid and those kinds of things. I think it's good for them. And I think it's made the college game better in the fact that you've got kids now that might stick around for an extra year
Mm-hmm.
in college basketball because they're making good money, as opposed to, man, I'm not making anything. I got to get out of here and get pro as fast as I possibly can. And so
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that's helped the product. Now I think NIL and transfer is all kind of in the
It
same
is.
pot, because
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
issue with it now is you bring in NIL, which is a massive change to college basketball, and then at the exact same time you have a massive change in the transfer portal. And so it is really tough for coaches to have any kind of continuity in their programs, because as soon as let's use a mid-major for example. If a mid-major has a player that they have developed from freshman year to junior year, and they're thinking, oh man, all right, senior year comes up, this is our chance to really make a run in the tournament. I look at Davidson and Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
um, let's say that NIL is a thing and somebody comes by and offers Steph Curry $4 million to come play at KU, Kentucky, Texas, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe don't get to see that mid-major run like we would have seen prior, and see him do it with the players that and the coaches that probably helped a big part of him in his development. And I think, as from a coach's perspective, it is tough to continually build your team, because every year you're recruiting for however many scholarships you're going to fill. because you never know, all those guys might take off. Maybe they all stay. You never know. But also, like on the player side, I think that there is positives to that. I think it's, if you're a player and you're in a situation that you feel like you can, this isn't the right situation for you. I mean, you probably need to be able to find another place. It's the same as people that leave jobs all the time and all of these things. But there's at some point, not I'm somebody a lot smarter than me is gonna have to figure out the answer. We don't see it quite as much in the NAI as you know, Division I teams do, but I do think that there's going to have to be some kind of a long-term solution to this, because having players transferring 2 or 3, 4 times over the course of their career, I just don't think that's very good for the fans. I don't think it's very good for just the product overall. Because it takes these transfers a little bit of time to get comfortable, to figure it out before they can really play their best basketball. Sometimes that's 1 year, sometimes it's 2 years. And so limiting some of those things, or the amount of times you can transfer, and some of those things might help. But you know, the tough part is you always hear these solutions and they make sense. And then somebody says, well, what about this? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, kind of maybe that would be a loophole that we need to let somebody out of. And so I think it's a tough situation. I'm hoping that we, you know, as just people that are with the game of basketball, can get together and get it figured out. I know I've been heard kicked around, you know, the collective bargaining with athletes being a portion of that, where, you know, we can come together and kind of come to a solution together, which that may be the next step or the next thing. So, but yeah, overall, I think it's everybody's heart is in the right place, because players, I think they deserve the revenue that they are getting. But then at the same time, it makes it real tough to build teams and build all that stuff and have it year in, year out. So that's a long answer for I don't really know what the right answer is. So
No, no, coach, but seriously, coach, something you said is something consistent with everybody, every college coach I've had on, coach. They all pretty much so we on the right track. We all thinking the same. It's just a matter of the folks that make the decision, you know, making the decision, because even Coach Donnie Jones, head coach down in Stetson, he said that like you said, he's affected by it real bad. He said, you know, they had a great team last year, made it to the NCAA tournament, but now his whole starting lineup, starting 5, they had great years, whatever. They got the NIL money, which he said, hey, he was for, you know, what have you, what have you. But at the end of the day, now, like you said, hey, I just came off of an NCAA tournament, you know, appearance, and you think he's probably think, hey, if I had these guys back, you know, in a normal sense of how college basketball used to be, you know, it's changed, coach. But you know, hey, these guys are probably coming back or what have you, especially, you know, at a you know, lower Division I level school or what have you, you know, what have you, coach. But that's not the case now, because now, like you say, those guys are, hey, I had a great season, I was all conference, but boom, now this school want to pay me. You know, I'm gone. I even heard, you know, players, you know, that at your level, at the NIL level, coach, where some coaches saying, hey, if a kid came, had a great season, what have you, you know, now some mid majors, you know, low majors, you know, want to throw money at him because, you know, he did well. So it's just one of the things, coach, and even Coach Pastor, Josh Pastor, said the same thing, which was funny. He said, I'm for. He said, but the only crazy thing is, he said, if you transfer 3 or 4 times, he said, think about when you graduate from college and you might be an alumnus, might, you know, want to come back, might need some help or stuff like that. Who you going to get help from? You know, you've been to 4 different schools, so
yeah, you're not going back to homecoming at any of those schools, because
yeah,
you
that's what he
didn't get a
said.
chance to meet anybody. So, and we were, you know, we had a really good player by the name of Jayson Scott out of Allen High School down there in the Dallas area, and he played 4 years for us. And I know during his time here, he was a first team All-American his junior and senior year. And I know he had schools reaching out to him after his junior year, trying to get him to leave. You know, from Division I schools, Division II schools. He ended up staying because he felt like it was the best situation for him. But I mean, that is very uncommon. I think that is something special. But then he also was able to use his COVID year and go play at College of Charleston, which Division I program. Went to the NCAA tournament. I mean, had an awesome year there. I think the year he was there, I think they got up to ranked number 18. And he was a starter for them and played like 25, 30 minutes a game. So kind of understanding how all that goes, like that's great for him to try out that last year, to get a great situation, to try something different and go play at the Division I level. And I'm sure there's other, you know, the low major, mid major kids are thinking the same thing. I want to go try at the higher level and just see
Yeah,
what I can do. Because I think that's something you see more and more out of the NAIA. I mean, there's a kid I know, Javen Buchanan, who was at Indiana Wesleyan. He's transferred up to Boise State, and I know in their opening scrimmage he had like 16 or 17 in the opening scrimmage. He's an NAIA player, and so keeping on those really, really special guys now at the lower levels, just getting
yeah.
tougher and tougher, I think.
But something you brought up, Coach, man, like you said, you know, Jalen Scott, you know, was with you 4 years, you know, graduated, got his degree, you know, had the 5th year left. It's just one of the competitive spirits, Coach, that, you know, every kid's dream when you're shooting them jumpers, you know, at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, Coach, your dream is to play at KU or what have
Yeah.
you, know, K-State. You want to see, you know, that's just competitive spirit in the athlete that you want to play at the highest level, compete at the highest level if you have opportunity to do so. So, like you said, Coach, I know that was something that was probably great for, you know, you and Jaden. You probably like, yep, hey, you probably his biggest cheerleader, Coach.
Yeah. We kind of tried to help him with his decision. I know I sat in on Zooms with some of the schools and
Yeah,
tried to be a sounding board for him and kind of what he was looking for. I mean, we were all aboard getting him moving up and moving on and going seeing what he could do. So we were happy for him, honestly.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, Coach, man, we're gonna talk a little about this crazy college basketball. What do you think of Coach? What is your opinion on the new NCAA changes that they just implemented? The first one to eliminate the national letter of intent, and also the cutting of the transfer portal window. What do you think about that, Coach?
Well, I do think we'll start with the letter of intent. You know, I mean, it's that is tough. I mean, they're going to have to sign something to lock them into place because
Yeah,
and
Coach.
I think if I'm not mistaken, they signed some kind of a financial aid agreement
Yeah,
or
there you
something
go.
like
Yeah.
that, right? And so there's at
Mhm,
least something
mhm.
to kind of hold them in place. But gollies, man, the tough part as a coach is you get these kids that you think are committed to you, committed to you. Well, in July, what if a coach calls, offers them this, and this? Well, now you're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
to fill a spot in July, and it could really, I mean, depending on kids' loyalty, and I'm sure it's going to change the recruiting, maybe the types of players you recruit, how you go about locking them into place without our letter of intent. I think that's just one of those things that there's always going to be that cloud hovering over you until like enrollment day comes
Mhm, mhm.
with coaches at that level. So, you know, NAI where we coach, there's no national letter of intent. We have a conference letter of intent. And
Okay.
so we've kind of been in that mode a little bit where you sign a guy that's really good. Let's say he's out of Alabama, and he's really good, and you're feeling great about it. Well, then all of a sudden June comes. Hey, coach, this school close to home finally offered me. I really wanted to go there, so they missed on
Yeah.
all the other guys they wanted. Now I'm kind of the next in line, and so I think I'm going to
Mhm,
stay at home. And so
mhm.
things like that happen and make
Okay.
it pretty challenging. I think the Division I level is probably going to see a little bit of that too, where everybody's just going to have to keep recruiting your own players, and people are going to keep trying to poach other people's players as well. So you can never really be confident in the guys that you think you're going to get with that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Mm. Well, Coach, on that one, man, I feel the same way. It's like, say for instance, Coach, you know, I know you love when they offer you a job at Bethel, what have you, Coach, but I'm pretty sure, Coach, especially the wife, because you know they yeah, you know how that goes, Coach. But I'm pretty sure that she wasn't gonna let you just show up, Coach. You didn't have some type of contract or something.
Yeah.
Same with me, Coach. You know, like you know, I work for a great school district, but I'm pretty sure when they offered me the job, you know, gave me the job, what have you, Coach. If I didn't have a contract, you know, like you say, something, you know, binding, you know, saying that, hey, you know, I just want to go show up, just be, hey, you know, at school they're working. You get what I'm saying? So they got to figure out something. But something you said, Coach, is that is that what you said is that you already kind of are dealing with that already at the NAIA level anyway, as far as
Yep.
you know, not having it. So that's something that basically, hey, all you Division I coaches, hey, quit crying, it'll be okay. Hey,
Yeah.
coach said it's gonna be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, man. They've got a lot of headaches to deal with anymore. So I don't maybe I don't envy them too much right now.
Well, Coach, what do you think about the cutting the shortening or the cutting of the transfer portal window, Coach?
I like it in the fact that you get a little bit, you finish up your recruiting a little bit earlier because you get these
Okay.
kids that keep trickling into the portal longer and longer and longer. Well, I think I saw some statistic like Division II players, it was over 50% didn't find a home to play in that were in the
Mm.
transfer portal. And I think by extending that, having a real long window like that, all these coaches are recruiting. Well, these kids, they might have put off another level. They might have said, okay, I don't want to go to a D2. I'm trying to go D1. Well, because the window was so long, these D1s kind of string these kids along saying, yeah, we'll look at you. We'll look at you. We're interested. We're interested.
Mhm.
And then don't pull the trigger. And then it's June, middle of June, early July. And this kid's looking for a spot. And maybe the places that really wanted him now have filled their spots. You shorten that window. And now that shortening that window might mean, as college coaches, you are working 24/7 for about that, well, however, 50 days or whatever it is, 40 days, trying to get your recruiting class squared away with all that stuff. But it doesn't drag on as long, I think, by
Yeah.
shortening that window and adding new guys every other day to the portal list. And if a kid knows he's going to transfer, he's probably going to transfer. It also, I think, sometimes protects the athletes because there's times when, we always like to look and say, well, the athlete is the one that's driving these transfers. And a lot of times that's true, but sometimes it's the coaches and they're saying, hey, listen, like this probably isn't a good fit for you anymore. You
Yeah.
need to go into the portal.
Yeah.
So if a coach does that with an extended window, now the kid has less time to get in the portal and find a new place and kind of leaves them out to dry a little bit. And so hopefully that shortened window will kind of speed up the process and help kids out that need it, I think, and help them hopefully make good decisions the next time around. So, but yeah, I think it'll be fast and furious once it once it opens up to when it closes.
Oh man, it's the wild, wild west, coach.
It is. It
It
is.
definitely is, man. Well, hey, for my viewers tuning in, TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner, I got Coach Jayson Artaz, head coach at Bethel College in Kansas. We're talking a little bit of basketball. Just got through talking about everything that goes with the transfer portal and the NIL. Well, Coach, let's move on to far as some of the things that you may be looking for us in a player. In your experience as a high school coach, college assistant, and now a college head coach, what are some things you look for when evaluating a player or prospective prospect? And all those things the same, whether it's a high school or a player that's already in college.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we look for is how fluid can they move, how flexible are their ankles, some of those things that you can't coach. You're
Okay.
not going to make a
Okay.
kid more fluid, being able to do some of those things. So like seeing that they kind of have that natural movement, they can get down in the stance and they can really move or whatever else it is. I mean, you can kind of,
Mhm.
at least we try to think that we can kind of tell when we watch a kid move, yeah, he's going to fit here, he's not going to fit here.
Okay.
But the guys that are real stiff, I mean, those are the guys that we try to avoid because I think they're hard to really create shots and those kinds of things. Defensively, they might not be real great changing directions. Um, from the basketball perspective, I mean, shooting is the thing now. I think that if you
Mhm.
can't shoot the ball, I mean, you're going to have a hard time playing real high level basketball unless you are just an absolute freak athlete that
Mhm.
can just bully their way downhill. You got to
Mhm.
be able to shoot
Mhm.
the basketball, but I think we really, from the basketball perspective, we want guys that can drive the ball downhill and then
Okay.
catch and shoot threes. We want those things. We try to get high IQ players that love the game enough to want to continue to learn too.
Okay.
If I call a player and I'm talking to him on the phone and I'm asking him, hey, what'd you think about, this or this or this that happened in these NBA games or these college games? And they say, well, I don't really watch basketball.
Oh.
Okay, well, yeah, you don't watch basketball. Well, what about your games? Like, what are some things you see on the film? Oh, and they don't have any real good answers on some of those things. Then that to me says that maybe they just don't love basketball
Nope.
enough as much as I would like them to. I want our
Mhm.
guys to be talking about it. I want our guys to live it. Like that's a big thing for us. Body language is humongous for us. We are a place that I know there's some places that have a lot of success that can bring in players that don't maybe have that I don't know, they always have like the red flags. They might be super talented, but they have the red flags. That's
Mhm,
not
mhm,
that's not us. We're the
mhm,
place that
mhm.
we try to bring people in that are going to be great teammates. They're going to be leaders. They're going to do the right thing on the floor. They're going to have that toughness. We try to be really, really intentional with that and try to avoid getting any players that are going to give you headaches and you know not know the game well enough from that perspective. Like we see players, we watch film a lot, and if a player's taking a bunch of crazy step back threes,
Mhm.
we probably won't recruit them. I don't care if those threes go in or not.
Yeah,
That's just, and if you look at all basketball players, the number of players that are allowed or need to be taking step back threes at the higher levels is very, very minimal.
it is.
And nobody that
Mhm.
we're recruiting is good enough to make those things enough to win. And I think that if they're wanting to shoot bad shots, that tells us a lot about their IQ. A lot of judge of those things. And so we get a lot of information from players, coaches as well. We always want to make sure, if this kid is a champion of your culture, like this kid is going to hold people accountable. This kid's always on time. This kid, can talk. He can communicate with me as a coach. He can communicate with his teammates properly. Like those things are really, really important to us. And I know it's kind of cliche to say because everybody says it, but yeah, this is the body language, the how do they interact when they come on campus? Do they act excited?
Yeah,
Do they sit there and try to act like they are too cool for everything? I think, if it's a kid that comes on campus and he's too cool and he doesn't really involve himself in the visit, and it's his parents doing all the talking and he's kind of
mhm,
whatever,
mhm,
we're
mhm,
probably not going to call that guy back after the
mhm,
visit, to
mhm,
be honest with you. I
mhm,
mean, we
mhm,
we
mhm.
are we try to be pretty specific in what we're looking for. I mean, we got a lot of things that we really try to check off and make sure that guys have, because some of those like learned habits, they're probably not going to break in their 4 years of time. Now, could you improve
Mhm.
them? Yeah, you can probably improve them. But when you're down three and he just turned the ball over with a minute and a half to go, a lot of his bad habits and bad, character traits are gonna show
Mhm,
their face. And so we try to
mhm,
avoid that at all costs if we
mhm,
can.
mhm. Well, Coach Man, something that you said that everybody says that I talked to when I asked that question. The first thing, just like you did, Coach, they don't talk a lot about basketball. They talk about the character, Coach. And like I try to tell these young guys that hey, character matters, character counts, character travels. Because at the end of the day, Coach, they don't realize is that their character is going to take you farther in life than anything else. Because just like you said, a perfect example, you have some of your professors and people in the school in the building at Bethel that may have remembered you, what have you, from playing basketball, but a majority of them, Coach, they remember you from your character, how you acted, around the campus, on campus things of that sort. So character's gonna take you a long way because a lot of times we forget about some of the things you may have did, as far as athletically, what have you. When I think of, some of my old teammates or, just people in general, I may forget that, hey, man, this kid was All American, this person was All American, but I remember that whether or not he's a good person, whether or not
Mhm.
he had good character or we had good experiences or what have you, coach. So
Yeah.
character matters. Character
Yeah.
matters.
One, and I
Yeah.
think I think character helps to kind of set your ceiling kind of where it's going to be. I mean, athletically, your ceiling is set a little bit, but the
Yeah.
players, we're real big on player development here at Bethel. That's a big thing to us. We recruit a lot of high school kids. We don't really, we're not a big transfer school.
Okay.
And so we believe a lot in player development. And the players for us that have made the biggest leaps and bounds over their career are the ones that have the best character. They're the ones that are going to put in the time. The ones that when they say they're going to be there, they're going to be there. They don't make excuses. They do all those things because they're going to see a huge jump in what they can do because of their character. Where other guys, sometimes their character will kind of limit them and they're not going to make those big jumps like they should from year to year.
Yeah, and something you said, Coach. Now I try to tell these kids, like you said, their character. Or if you got a kid that has, some questionable character, when the adversity hits, a person's true character comes out, Coach.
That's
You
right.
know, what's in you is in you, Coach. Hey, you can try to, hide it or what have you, Coach, but when adversity hits, coach, you really know how that kid feels about you. You're gonna really know how that kid feels about your coaching staff.
Yep.
Because you know, just like you, coach, I've been fortunate enough, be the assistant coach. So a lot of times, we're the ones that hear that, man, coach, man, man, coach tripping, man, coach, So we're the ones
Yep.
that's part of being an assistant. So yeah, character matters, coach. And when that adversity
Yes.
hits, hey, there's show, coach. You're right.
Absolutely.
That was a great point, coach, you brought up. Well, coach, let me ask this, coach. You spoke of player development. What are some things you feel players should be focusing on as far as trying to improve their game on the court that can make them a more recruitable prospect, coach?
Well, I think one of the skills that we talked about was obviously shooting. I think,
Okay.
I mean that's an easy way to give yourself a chance if you're a really good shooter. You can put the ball in the basket, and you don't need to be a guy that is just insane and making all these shots. You need to be an efficient shooter. I think
Okay.
that's
Okay.
the first step because we'll go, I've seen guys do workouts and over the course of their workout, they're doing a bunch of ball handling cones and all that kind of stuff. But then they might only get up 50 shots in their workout and they think that that's good for the day. And they need to be getting 200 to 300 in off season for sure to try to get through some of those things. I think being able to physically handle the ball. So not just handle the ball like ball handling drills, but handling the ball versus a defender. When
Okay.
our player development, we want to do a lot of live, so we can handle the basketball even when we're getting pressured, even when we're getting trapped, even when we're getting whatever else. Like I think that's a big thing for us. And then working on decision making with your kids in workouts. How fast can they make a decision? We do drills where we'll throw them the ball, and if our hand is up, they drive it. If our hand is down, they shoot it. We
Okay.
do different things of, okay, we'll toss them the ball, and they've always got to drive the top foot on a closeout. And so we'll put a different foot up each time, but now they're catching the ball on a split catch and having to read it a little bit versus your coach just giving you the ball and being like, all right, we're just going to rip baseline, strong dribble, finish off two, layup. Some guys will look great in those scenarios and then they get in the game and you're thinking, man, why can't this kid ever get downhill? Why can't this kid,
Mm-hmm.
get by his defender? Well, he's not processing fast enough what needs to happen. And so he's not using some of the decision-making stuff that really happens in the game on every single play. And so I think we try to really teach the decision-making stuff. We're big on 2 feet in the paint, 2-foot finish type stuff. Playing on balance with proper posture, just all of the body positioning stuff that it takes to be successful is a big part of finishing everything inside of 10 feet. You watch all the great players. I mean, they're all on balance, finishing around the rim. Their posture is good. They're not falling over when they're driving the ball. And so that's something that we also try to work on with our guys. So we try to put them in a lot of real game situation type stuff and make them decision make and then work on what their body looks like as they go to finish.
Man, well, coach, the point that you made that stood out to me, coach, is what you said is that even in practice, coach, instead of just how most coaches do, hey, we go into practice, we're going through, swing through, 1, 2 dribble, pull up, what have you. Where what you're saying is true, coach. That I tell people all the time, hey, these guys, you see them sometimes, coach, they see me their videos, go work out, they go and get these cones, look great against cones, but I'm a firm believer, I'm old school like you, coach. I like to practice and simulate it. You going to get some a body,
Yeah.
whether
Yep.
some defense, whether you have somebody out there with you, your teammate or what have you, y'all push each other because so you can simulate game situations. And I'm big like you on that, coach. Everything needs to be game situations because that's what you're preparing for. You're not
Yeah.
preparing, to look nice and pretty, what have you. So that's something, coach. The series that I like that you do that. Even like to say, coach, when you're doing your shooting drills, what have you, everything is a game situation type of scenario, coach, which is
Yeah.
good, coach. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, for everybody tuning in on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner, I have Coach Jayson Artaz, head coach at Bethel College in Kansas on. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. What are some things you feel players focus on too much?
Honestly, trying to make tough shots. I think that's something that players work on where it's, hey, I want to make, the step back jumpers that we were talking about and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, most of the time your team will have 1 or 2 guys that maybe needs to make that shot. And the rest of the guys need to be able to make the open 3. They need to be able to make a 2-foot finish at the rim or something tough at the rim And so I think trying to make tough shots, that's an area that people are just focusing on too much. Trying to create something where it looks good when it goes in and everybody goes crazy. And I get all annoyed at my players because they go nuts when they make a shot. And then we talk about it afterwards and we say, listen, like this shot goes in 20% of the time. 20% of the, if we take that shot every time all game, we're going to lose every single game of the season. And so I think players that don't focus on what they need to do to get in the game or to help their team win. Because everybody's going to have something different. Some guys need to be able to break guys down and get to the rim and finish. Some guys need to be able to stand still and shoot, or come off a pin down and shoot. And that's what they should be working on a lot, not the stuff that they wish they could do. I know there's some coaches, and Phil Beckner, I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but I played against him in college. He's an NBA trainer now. Their big thing is going from good to great in their skills and focusing less on their weaknesses, because the great players always have a great skill. Their weaknesses are serviceable. You want to obviously be serviceable. So you can't dribble with your left hand. Well, yeah, we want to get better at that, but you're never going to become elite at it. We want to find something that we can make elite. And so just each player being honest with themselves, honest with what they need to do to get in the game, to impact their team the most, to be the best player that they can possibly be at the next level. I think those are the things they need to be focusing on, and not trying to be something that they're not in their workouts.
Well, Coach, man, he always watches. I have a 14-year-old. He just started playing basketball. Very, very athletic. Plays all football, plays receiver, basketball, and runs track, runs the 200. So, but the thing about it is, late bloomer, just really started playing basketball. But the thing I always tell him is, hey, do the things that you could affect your team winning or what have you, and you'll be okay. Like right now, Coach, he has a skill set, like I tell him, that affects the team. Like one game, he played the game, Coach, and he didn't score a point. And he was on the court the whole game. And so he came out the game after the game. He's like, dang. And they won. He's like, dang. Coach didn't take me out the whole game. I wasn't even scoring any points. What have you? I said, yeah. But what you were doing? I said, he's faster than everybody. Got him playing the 4 to 5, Coach. He's faster than everybody. I said, so rim run. I said, rim run. He's faster than everybody. I said, rim run, get your hand up. I said, you can score points off of there. I said, even when you rim run, even when you don't get the ball, I said, you taking that defender away. That's why your guard is able to dribble up just right up your butt, for that layup sometimes to transition.
Yeah.
I said, so I told him, I said, rebound, which he's a good rebound. I said, rebound. I said, coaches and your teammates love people to rebound. I said, because you rebound on the offense end, that's extra possessions. I said, if you rebound on defense end, that means that you don't have to play defense anymore. So your teammates love that. You get back on offense. So
that's right.
So I try to tell them, I said, hey, because the skill set is for as, shooting and things like that, it's not there yet. But to your point, Coach, and I'm gonna definitely implement this with him, is that, yeah, we're gonna focus on the shooting, what have you, but just like his high school coach told him, doing some workouts, is that he wasn't trying to be funny. He said, hey, man, you're not a shooter. So I understand that, hey, he's not going to probably ever be Steph Curry, Reggie Miller, what have you like this. We can make him to probably be, like you said, Coach, a serviceable shooter where he can hit the shots he need to make, or what have you. But will he ever probably be a good 3-point shooter or anything like that? But what you said is, as long as he can make, like he's doing now, can catch, finish around the basket and make those shots in the lane, that's all that matters. But you brought up a good point, Coach. Be who you are. And that's why I tell him, I say, hey, man,
right.
understand that I tell him, he's a little worried about, because they haven't had trials there because he's in football, make the basketball team. I said, son, you'll be all right. I said, just play to your strengths. I said, Coach, see you out there, man. You rim running, man. He see you out there, because he's versatile. He's going to 1 through 5. He see you out there playing defense, boxing out, showing the effort. You'll be fine, son.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. We have a saying, show the coaches what you can do, not what you can't do. That's a big thing.
Oh yeah, and also, Coach, I tell guys that some of my prospects, in recruiting, I say, hey, fool them. I said, hey, if you're not a good 3-point shooter, I said, hey, play to your strengths. I said, wait till they sign you. Coach, you get the practice. You go like, hey, Coach, you be calling me, Coach. You be calling me, hey, Coach, hey, man, this kid can't freaking shoot, dude. I never seen him shoot.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, man, as you can tell, man, I'm having a good time with you, Coach, man. let me ask this, Coach. We talked about your background and everything else, Coach. Let's talk about your upcoming team this upcoming season. Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and your expectations for the season.
Yeah, I think it's always scary to think about the expectations for the season because you right now we're practicing against each other, and so it's like, man, I
Yeah,
think we look pretty good, and
yeah,
then we'll
yeah.
go up against somebody, and I'll really realize what we're not good at. But honestly, I feel really good about our team. This team has over the whatever 5 weeks that we've practiced has probably improved more over that span of time than any team I've ever had. I really like this group of guys. They've bought into everything that we are doing. They're ultra coachable this year. We've got some guys that I think are poised to have some pretty good years, some breakout years. Carmelo Yakubu is a guy that's sophomore, is going to be a junior. He's from Houston. He's a guy that I think is going to have a really good, kind of breakout year where he's been an all honorable mention all conference guy his first couple of years, but I think this could be the year that he maybe takes that big step forward. He's been working a lot harder than he was, and I think he's really kind of maturing a little bit, and I think that's showing up in how he's playing also. But I think our team is set up to have. We're not going to have like a guy where it's, hey, we got one guy, he's our stud, like everything's built around him. We've got Carmelo, Nick Bonner, Harper Jonas, who are two returners that have been 3-year starters for us. Those guys are just leading our program in the right direction. But then, we got Eli Wiseman, who's a senior. Albert Diarra is a JUCO incoming big, about 6'9", athletic. We've got Mac Reed is a freshman point guard we're really, really excited about. He's out of Houston. We've got a couple kids out of Richardson High School there in Dallas area that we're pretty high on and that are freshmen that I think could impact us. So I think we're going to be that team that we will 9-10 deep that could really any night it could be somebody different. And I think the good thing is nobody is threatened by that. Nobody's hoping, hey, I want to be the guy. Hey, I don't want you to be the guy. I want to be the guy. Everybody is completely bought into each other. We have two bigs right now, the Albert Diarra and Cade Cottrell. Those two guys, I kind of asked them, who do you think should be, the starting five? And they both said the other person. And so to have that tells me, one, we got a lot of depth because I would feel more than comfortable having either one of those guys starting. But it also tells me that our team is about the right stuff right now. And I think that might be the hardest thing to have, honestly. And so if we keep moving in the right direction, keep doing what we're doing, I'm feeling really good about our team this year. I'm pretty encouraged about what I think that we could do. So I am enjoying going to practice with these guys every day. They're enjoying it. I mean, we talk about after practice, what are some of the things going well, not well. And every time it's guys like, man, I'm loving going to practice right now. And that's hard to say when it's been 5 weeks of just practice. But our guys are loving it. We compete a ton. Our practice is ultra up tempo. Intensity should be through the roof. So it'd be easy to be like, man, I got to work really hard every day. I don't like that. But our guys are 100% bought in and enjoying each other right now. And as a coach, I mean, that's all I can really ask for. They're doing a lot of the right stuff, and I'm pumped about it.
Oh yeah, man. But like you say, Coach, it's that culture that you established the 7 years you've been there. It, like you say, where they coming in, where you recruit those type of guys, like you say, guys that like basketball, not necessarily like love basketball. And the most important thing is we know as coaches, it's a journey, it's a process. You got to enjoy the process, Coach. Even the bumps and bruises. Sometimes, like you say, Coach, the mishaps that we have. Coaching is a journey, and we know, trying to be a great basketball player, it's a process. So, shout out, like you say, to you and your coaching staff for proving the right type of kids, Coach, for your program.
Appreciate it.
Coach, well, Coach, man, we down to the last question, man. We've been having a good time, man. I don't know about you, man. I've been having a great time.
I've been enjoying it.
Oh yeah, man. But like we said earlier in the interview, Coach, man, your journey, Coach, has been a journey that a lot of people may not have encouraged, as Coach would have you. So definitely, I know you probably have a lot of advice, Coach. So do you have any advice for young coaches who are trying to move up into the move up in the profession to the college ranks, or even guys that's already in the college ranks that may be trying to move up from an assistant to a head coach? Any advice,
Yeah.
coach?
I think, well, first advice I would say from high school to college. If you're in high school and you're trying to get to the college level, you need to make connections with as
Okay.
many college coaches as you possibly can. I think that is good. Don't be afraid of hearing no when you go talk to these guys. Go ask. You have any local colleges? Go ask them if you can go watch them practice.
Okay.
Go get out in the gym with them and see what they do. Go watch individual workouts with them. Go spend a bunch of time with all the college programs that you possibly can, because you're going to learn a lot. One, but then two, they're at least going to know who you are. So if something opens up, you got a GA spot or whatever else, well, maybe there's your opportunity, and that opportunity may only knock once, and so you got to be prepared for it. From an assistant perspective, I think if you want to be a head coach, you need to be an absolute star in your role as an assistant. Do not try to be a head coach while you're an assistant. Add value to your program as an assistant. If you add enough value, people are going to talk about you. People will know who you are. Your program will probably be winning. And when your program is winning, your head coach will champion for you because of all the things that you've done. And then you're going to have a chance to move up and do some other things, head coaching wise in the college ranks. And so I think just doing those things is big. Just being the best that you can be at your current job will allow you to then go get the next job. But when you're constantly just chasing a job, so if you're unhappy with being an assistant and you were wanting to be a head coach and you allow that to get in the way of being a great assistant, you're never going to get to where you're never going to get to the head coach spot. You got to be a star at that assistant coach job, and then you're going to get noticed and have your chances to move up, I think.
Oh yeah. Hey, my guy, Patrick Nee at Allen County said the same thing. He said, be a star in your role as an assistant. He said, hey, be a star in your role. Don't worry about trying to be a head coach. Don't worry about, a lot of times we know in this business loyalty. Don't worry about, trying to get your head coach's job or whatever the case may be. Hey, be glad the position that you're in. Be a star in your role. Whether or not, do. And then he also said, like you probably know, coach, hey, do the things that they're not asked of you from your head coach. Where you may do something. He's like, hey man, hey coach, I already done that. Seriously, coach, head coach, you guys like that because.
Oh man, that's the greatest thing to hear from an assistant. Where they're like, yeah, I did that without having to be asked. That's awesome to hear.
Oh yeah, that's why I tell him, man, do that because basically, he told me, coach, he said, hey, he said, assistant coach, man, he said you have few responsibilities. He said, number one, make your head coach look good. Number two, make your head coach job easier. He said, and number three, if you're assistant coach, it's about players. Go get your head coach and players.
Yep.
He said,
Yep.
he said it's real simple being a college assistant. He always used to tell me that too. We work. He said, hey, make me look good, make my job easy. Go get me some players, man.
That's
hey,
right.
There you
That's
go.
exactly right. Yeah, you do those things and you're going to have a pretty happy head coach.
Well, Coach, man, it's been a pleasure, man, having you on the show tonight, Coach. Before we leave, Coach, go ahead and let everybody know how they can follow you or your team or any information you want to give out, Coach.
Yeah, so we are follow me at Jayson Artaz, JaysonArtaz on X, and Threshers MBB is our team's page. If anybody is ever in town or whatever, anybody that watches this is ever in town and wants to watch a practice, just let me know. We will be more than happy to let you come in and see everything that we do. We'll coach our guys the same when people come in as we do when nobody's there. So, but we want to try to grow the game as much as possible too, and want to create as many connections as possible. So we hope we have a bunch of people reaching out and get to know people as much as possible.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I got to tease you, man. Funny story, man. Seriously, Coach, man, Coach Jay, man. Hey, man, great dude, very personal, seriously, man. Like I met you, man, probably 4 or 5 years ago. When I met you, just real person, man. Like we just kind of like made eye contact, or I think we always used to see each other in the gym. That's what we always used to see each other in the gym and tournaments. We got to kind of like tease each other. Hey, what's up, Coach? What's up? We knew each other because we always bumping into each other in the gym and. Finally, we exchanged information, what have you, Coach. So that's just something I also tell there's younger coaches, or people just in the business, don't be afraid, to be personable. If you have the opportunity, to go talk to coach, because I tell people all the time, coaches, we're some of the most down to earth people there is, man, because
Yep.
we're in the people business, man. We love talking, so it's not a big thing. And something I always tell them too is that, hey, how you keep that college coach attention is, hey, the initial, hey, how you doing, what have you. You better be talking about some players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
hold some attention. But you better be talking about some players. You
That's
start talking
right.
about, yeah, you got some players. He'll really start. Hey, how you doing, Coach Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
okay.
coach is going to listen at that point.
Exactly, Coach. Exactly. Well, Coach, I'm not gonna hold you up, Coach. I know you got to start your week off Monday morning, man. We both do, Coach. Before we go, I got to mess with you, Coach. I always do this to everybody, Coach. Who interviews you today, Coach?
Ed Taylor, the legend, TaylorMade Scouting.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate you, Coach. Hey, have a wonderful season, Coach. You know how we do, Coach. Hey, I see, once
Oh,
the
yeah.
period start, I'll see you out, Coach. But hey,
Yep. We'll
I'll
see you
shoot you a
around.
text every now and then, Coach. Just
Yes,
keep
sir.
contact with you, Coach, man. Hey,
All
have a
right.
great season, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.